Stacy's going to be talking to us about innovation. Yes. And so we'll, actually, Stacy, I want to kind of do the same thing with you. If you could tell us just about your background with regard to innovation and really what all you do with entrepreneurs.
Sure. Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm a huge fan of the West Virginia University LaunchLab. I've been a visitor and a judge for a couple of the pitch competitions there, and the LaunchLab hosts the Alpha Lab Gear Hardware Cup Pit Stop. So for 2 years in a row, I've been lucky enough to come down and judge the pitch competition at your awesome facility. I'm also a West Virginia University alumni, so I have a fine arts degree, and I also have a master's degree from Parsons, the design school. And I have obviously a lot of experience with fine art, but I also have a lot of experience with product design. And that's what I do at Alpha Lab Gear. Alpha Lab Gear is a hardware accelerator. So we're talking physical products, robotics, soft goods, anything from material science, any physical product. And I run the youth program. It's called Startable. And it's a product design program that teaches entrepreneurship and product design skills like CAD and drafting skills to students ages 13 to 18. And we take them through a whole ideation process. So they're learning what innovation is, what entrepreneurship is, and all of the components of that. I also help our Alpha Lab Gear cohorts prototype and source materials for their physical products. Mostly when startups come into Alpha Lab Gear, they already have an idea, and mostly they already have some semblance of a prototype, sometimes further along than others. So I help them with the on-site facility when it's open. I also help them source materials and other kinds of things with their prototype. So even though we have a lot of amazing technologists come in, me with our background, understanding material science and understanding how to build things, I can actually be helpful, which is pretty cool. But I do credit that a lot to my education at West Virginia University, where I learned a ton of stuff like welding and all kinds of really cool processes that lead right into manufacturing processes, which is what we help our startup cohorts do. So yeah, that's my background a little bit.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I wanted to kind of, same thing with Erin, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the terminology, right? So we tell our students that, to be innovative, to be, an inventor, to be an idea creator. But as far as innovation, what does it mean to you, as a practitioner in the field?
Sure. So this is a good one, because to me, innovation is incremental change, right? It's not reinventing the wheel. It's really about a lot of times taking what what you're already good at, and figuring out what little tweak you can make or what little change you can make to make things better or faster or better for the environment or whatever. So incremental changes. That's where we start. Some product design, some products are more disruptive than others, of course. And I think, when people think of new product design or new innovations, often they think about the big ones, but understanding that those big innovations were probably a lot of incremental changes that, we don't think about or see, or these new solutions, these new innovations are more adapted. They're more adapted by consumers, or they're more adapted by the businesses that they're meant for. So to me, it's an, generally creative problem solving, right? That's what I think of when I think of innovation. It's design thinking. It's the engineering design process. It's any of these kind of sort of taking what and just stretching it a little bit further, or taking an existing product and meshing it together with another one, or taking existing technology and applying it to new systems. So it's incremental to me. Like it's not some kind of like magic that only certain geniuses have, right? Any of us can be innovators.
So how do you, and I love that definition, right? The incremental change. I think that's so incredibly important. And a lot of times students only see the the big change, right? The end product, but they don't see those small changes along the way. Are there tools or activities or exercises that you recommend for students who can start to look at things a little bit more innovatively?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think what's amazing about being a student in academia is there are tons of resources. There are tons of ways to tap into your creativity through, learning new skills, through seeing what other people are doing. Spaces like Alpha Lab Gear, where I work, or the LaunchLab are amazing facilitators for this growth. They're amazing places to go in and build a community with other people who are doing new and different things, mostly who are experts in their own field. And places like the LaunchLab are awesome in the way that they can, students from the physical therapy department can come over and make a prototype. Like that's amazing. Like, people that aren't even studying about mechanical engineering can do some of that. We see a lot of different people who either are or aren't technologists already. We get some cohorts at Alpha Lab Gear that are mechanical engineers, so they're kind of built for this, right? But we get other people who aren't. We get other people who might not know much about manufacturing or how to make a product that they have an idea for, but being around other people who are doing it is really the best way to facilitate this creative process. Like knowing what you can do, knowing what's out there, knowing what manufacturing processes are, how to talk to a manufacturer if you're not going to do it yourself, how to connect with other designers if you need someone else to draw your product design for you. Like those are all great places to start. Just, being around this kind of building a community around the things you're trying to make or build.
Yeah. You said something interesting, kind of about these natural innovators, I think, and we were talking earlier kind of off record about people who love to just create things. And what do you think motivates them? And you're one of those people. So what motivates you to be an innovator?
I don't know. It's some kind of inborn trait. I'm not sure if it's a blessing or a curse. But no, it's true. And honestly, the same motivation that, motivates me to make things or to love materials or, just love like researching material science. And the same thing I see in engineers of all types, material engineers, chemical engineers, that same drive is also, something that maybe limits our other skill set. So I think that when I was saying community is super important, because if I'm really good at making things, but I don't know how to sell things, having all the components necessary to take my idea and make it happen is really important. And I think the main component of that is communication, because when you're building whatever it is that you're building or creating, even if I'm talking about fine art, I need to understand the history of what I'm doing. I need to understand what my current resources are. I need to understand how to do it economically. I need to understand who my audience is, who my customer is. It's very similar, the different fields. When you're making anything physical, whether it's fine art or product design, understanding your community, your communication, your customer, I think are super essential to making something meaningful.
Yeah, for sure. And you said something, you're segueing me beautifully into my next question. I love it. What role do you think innovation plays in business development?
I think it's really important as we move about our world, as things are changing, as we're more concerned with environmental concerns, with political policy, with helping each other with our healthcare system. I think innovation is essential. It's necessity is the mother of invention, right? I think it's completely essential to everything, to helping us exist in a healthy and successful way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, okay, last question, because I always like to end on advice for our students. So we get students from every academic discipline here in the LaunchLab, and I just wanted to find out from you advice that you have from students from any academic discipline. How can they become more innovative and create a difference in their world?
Yeah, so play to your strengths, show up, definitely, become part of the community, just continually show up and see what's happening, drop in on a pitch competition, look at what your resources are. We, Alpha Lab Gear and Innovation Works, we're in Pittsburgh, we're not that far away, and there are a ton of resources for our region here. We get free business advice, free office hours. I know the LaunchLab has a ton of resources. Use those resources. They're awesome ways to get your products patented through a university system. There are ways to get, free or cheap labor. Collaborate, find co-founders for your business. If you're really serious about a startup, or you've invented something and need someone else to do, certain parts of it. Your community is your best bet, making your way in your own community, finding friends, finding colleagues that you can trust, that can do other parts of the thing you're trying to do. Those are all really important